Hi everybody, I am Brian Mullins the Fox. Welcome to the second to last short form rant of the month of April. This is by far the most important thing to talk about all month, by the way. How do we make it permanently illegal for the governments, and countries abroad all over the world to sexually exploit children themselves and then punish those who do? That's a very fucking good question. Because I'll just state this for the record. Maybe, just maybe, all this shit was never about being capitalistic because capitalism has no relationship to the state. Because if all this has a relationship or another to the deep state, the state itself, FBI, CIA, CPS, NCMEC, and child sex trafficking rings and prostitutes themselves, then it isn't capitalism or capitalistic. By definition, we were all brainwashed to comply with, but also deny the very existence of the deep state at the same time. We coaxed ourselves to be gullible sheep in a world and society where we would be the very reason why these predators are off the streets, and they wouldn't even exist by that standard. Maybe, just motherfucking maybe, the child sex traffickers aren't doing all the money making after all. Possibly only just a fraction of it, but I bet you $1 million fucking dollars that the rest of it is from the deep state and all these other organizations just to try and supposedly fight against them, but all they're doing is funding the operations of the very child sex trafficking rings they're running, and not dissolving those rings at all. That's more than just a guess and a hunch. It's most positively a fact. I haven't done any math about the intricate details yet, but I will. Just you wait and see this summer. All of this is self-centered, self-serving, over-controlling sexual exploitation of children just for the sake of pretending that they can compete with their enemies and that children can consent when not only that they can't, but that they shouldn't because they should never be prostitutes. No one should ever be a prostitute, ever. No matter if you're an adult or not. Because, just like the culture of ignorance this all has brewed up over the past almost 5 decades, it also brewed up all the misconceptions of porn that idiots and manic people, especially religious nutterbutters, and a lot of them on the far right, or generally moderate right, will fight tooth and fucking nail to keep defending and propagating. Because they don't understand that porn is supposed to be fake, and why'd you call it porn if children cannot consent? Which is a good point, but I digress. The CPS was designed to fail while covering for the deep state. The NCMEC does the same, but covers for both law enforcement and the deep state as well. We never needed federal nonprofits to do all this. We could have had states formulate statewide nonprofit organizations that actually deals with the real issues at hand and only let the feds fund individual states to help fight them, and not to psychopathically fuck them over for financial and foreign policy interests. And we cannot fucking sit here and pretend like there's nothing that we can do to not only stop predators where they roam, but stop them in the act before law enforcement comes around to finish the job that we ourselves would have started and finished on our goddamn own. The only thing that law enforcement should have really done is just arrest the perpetrators. That's it. That's all they really need to do outside of just throwing them in the slammer where they belong. But what is the point in sitting on our asses when we don't need to lay a hand on anyone for simply pointing out the irony of it all? I don't need to catch hands because I offend you. Firstly, that would be inciting violence, and 2, I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. Because if they can't help but sexually exploit children themselves without molesting them second-handedly, then why the fuck should I feel ashamed of pointing it all out? I shouldn't. And that's a problem. You can't turn a profit whilst turning a blind eye to the real solution. It requires no profit to gain from destroying this international industrial complex, so that everyone, including the most monstrous predators out there, are left in panic mode. It requires no profit at all to actually contribute to the best of what society can be. It requires no fucking benefit whatsoever to be the one who had to fix the real problem and just be fucking done with it afterwards. And if we did all this, and this one thing alone, there would be no point in always pretending that the victim can do no wrong. The victim can, and in many instances and cases, have done a lot of wrong over the decades. We need to stop infantilizing the victim. Make it permanently illegal for the government, the deep state, other countries all around the world, and even the child sex traffickers, along with the child prostitutes themselves, to have them being sexually exploited for profit and prostitution, and make it illegal for them to run the rings for the sake of keeping this uncapitalistic so-called black market alive. It didn't choose to exist in the 1970s. The underlying problem, the actual one, child sex trafficking, would have been obsolete and damn near non-existent almost immediately had we made that shit illegal first, while drawing the line between what's porn and what isn't, and cracking down on them hard without making it about foreign policy and deeply financially invested interests. The problem of calling any of this porn is that it eludes us into thinking that there is no better solution, and distorts our understanding as to how consent and sexual education works, and why the age of consent is set to the age that it has been. And after all that, we would have also gotten rid of the redundant anti-CP laws and exposed all the fraud out there. I would rather feel like Elon Musk while exposing all the fraud in the world than feel like Alex Jones screaming, spurging the fuck out, and crying about demons and potbelly goblins and the Hollywood elite at this point. But what do I know, right? I'm apparently just some crazy psychopathic so-called conspiracy theorist for even suggesting or entertaining the idea or notion that we're just cogs in a machine that would have never been created, let alone conceived or needed, had it not been for all of us buying into the bait back in the 70s. Thank you all for watching. Hit that like button, share this video, and most importantly, subscribe. In the next and last weekend of this month's topical series, for commentary's sake, we'll just recap what we have begun to learn, understand, and hopefully be done with, so that not only can I talk about something else and still have a platform, but I can also have the brazen confidence in not having someone to try and ruin my life afterwards or have me catch hands all because I offended a bunch of fake pussies on the internet. I'm Brian Mullins the Fox, signing the fuck out. See you then.